You're coming too.
From Washington State to now sunny California, we've been at it for 5 years. It began with selling our previous boat and taking that money to buy tools and build a shed. We assembled keel pieces, poured the ballast, and raised all 16 frames in the first 6 months.
There's a boat in there.
Now, half a decade later, and at a slower but steady pace, we're in the water. We're Salt and Tar, and this is our life. Like, subscribe, and support if you can. Spring is my favorite time of year. The change you feel in the air, the smell of life is so strong. It's cleansing. Life on a boat means you're very much in tune with the seasons, and the weather dictates your projects. Uh-oh, Swab's hammered again. Lay off the apple juice, Swab. A rainy day means we're working on the interior, filling 100 tiny holes.
I'm mixing up just some fairing putty, as I just went and sanded, cleaned up where all the screws are holding the 2 layers of the cabin walls together, because it's 2 layers of 1/2-inch plywood glued in the middle and screwed. So where all the screws are kind of countersunk in, I just went and kind of cleaned up the edges, sanded a little bit, and now I'm going to mix up some of this putty, just do a swipe over all the screw holes, and come back once it dries, come back and just give it a quick sand just to flush up all the screw holes, so when we paint the cabin walls it'll look decent.
Do you want to explain our decision to paint?
Yeah, because we want to go sailing, and it's a lot quicker than paneling all the walls with wood. So it's going to be painted for now, because we're still going to do a lot of trim and a lot of paneling in some areas, but we're just kind of deciding places where we can minimize it for now, so we can actually get out and sail our boat, and then maybe think about doing it sometime later in the future. With this, it's a 1-to-1.
Why did you decide this putty?
Because it's an epoxy, and so it's got a nice long working time. Super easy to sand, and since there's not going to be fiberglass over this, like, we just use Bondo on the screw holes on the deck and cabin, which a lot of people freaked out about. But it was just to fill little voids, and all that got pretty good solid layers of glass over them, so I'm not worried about using Bondo at all. It's not like it's going to come out, but for this stuff it's all just getting painted over, so I'd rather use a better putty. Like I said, this is an epoxy putty, so it's going to have really good adhesion, and it should never separate from the plywood.
these working conditions, man. Just trying to work on the video.
What?
Da-dum, 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 the head.
So cheesy.
Poop, pee. Have you decided to sort of tuck it back underneath the side deck a little bit?
That's what I'm thinking. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna clean it up, and then I'm probably gonna put some like frame pieces from under the floor out, and I'm probably just gonna come up against this with a cabin sole here and run the cabin sole all the way out till it kind of hits the hull, and then that way we can mount the head like right here, so it's just under the side deck. Your head, when you're sitting on it, your head will be like just like right in there, front of this, so but it can be tucked off pretty well doing it like that.
Yeah, and then that leaves us all of this space.
Yeah, so it gives us this whole space to decide either just do it where there's a little counter and mirror and maybe like a, I don't know,
some corner shelves or something.
Either do it like that, or the other option that I'm thinking of is putting a sink and a counter and everything that is on slides, that slides back under the side deck when you're not using it, so you can use the head and everything, and then when you use the sink, you just slide it out, and so then you have a big wash basin and stuff, and then probably just put a mirror here. And if we go that route, it would be solely for the purpose of turning this whole area into a stall shower. So yeah, those are the options. A nice little stall shower would be pretty sweet in here.
Very sweet.
It's a lot more work, but I mean, I don't have to do it right now. It could just kind of come in over time. I mean, the reality, it's like everything down here, it's really not that much work. And if I had the motivation and the energy, I could have it done so fast. But now it seems like it takes me 2 days just to cut like one little piece of plywood. So I'm just tired.
So you're just focusing today on the head?
Yeah, and really mainly just focusing on if I can just get the cabin sole built out, just extend this bit all the way out to where it hits the hull. One of the hard things I find myself often when I come in to start doing a simple project like this, where I just want to, you know, just extend this cabin sole out, but then like hours later I haven't even started on this because I'm sitting in here thinking about everything else I want to do. Like I'm already like have been staring at this for the last 10 minutes thinking about installing a shower stall. It's like that has nothing to do with this, and I'm going to do this regardless. So I just need to focus on this and get this done.
Easy to say, hard to do?
Yeah. So tired.
Overcast days are always hard. It's like feeling the last 5 years, the entire build, past to future, all at once. All the work that's been done, and all the work that's yet to do. press on, like we do. But we've decided the hottest day of the week is our day off, and all work must cease. I call it pedicure.
Just finished throwing together this simple little box that is going to be for our switches for all our electronics and stuff. So it's going to have one little switch panel there, another one there, a couple bilge pump switches, and then maybe some other miscellaneous things, 12-volt chargers, whatnot. But just threw it together out of some 1/4-inch plywood, just real simple. But just so it looks decent, I'm gonna putty all of the screws and all the seams with some more of the Total Boat. All right, so I gotta apologize to you guys and to Ruth because I keep forgetting to film everything that I do, and I can only show it to you after I finish. But what I just did, now that I got the electrical box all puttied up and I'm waiting for it to dry, I'm milling up I'm just gonna do some nice trim around it. So a buddy of ours gave us all this rough sawn Bing cherry from his property. He's got a sawmill out there, and it's just it's nice stuff, but it's all really dirty and just rough cut. But I just ran a bunch of it through the new FlexVolt cordless table saw, the DeWalt FlexVolt cordless table saw, which I've been using, and I love this thing. I never would have imagined that a cordless table saw could rip like this thing, but it's pretty sweet. So I just ran it through there, And here's all these strips that I just cut. So they're still just rough through the table saw, but it's pretty wood. It's really pretty. It's nice and pink. It's kind of like mahogany-ish. It's hard as a rock too, so that's pretty sweet. So what I'll probably do, I might send all these through the router table and just route a little groove in them so that when I put them on the box, it'll just slightly overhang. Let's go check on the box. I got it out here, just drying on the hood of the truck in the sun. So hopefully that putty will dry up pretty quick. Well, it's getting there. It's definitely still soft though. It's coming along. So hopefully by the end of today, depending on how fast that, putty dries, should be able to get the holes cut out for all the electrical switch panels and bilge pump switches and all the doohickeys that I got, and then I can fit the trim and then paint it, or paint it and fit the trim, something like that. All right, I'm gonna keep going. All right, so now I've got all my pieces of cherry cut up. Now I'm gonna run them through the router, and you can see I've done my first one here. Just routing a little groove in it, but I don't have a bit big enough to do it all in one pass, so I'm getting this edge on it, which is going to be my overhang. I'm going to pass them all through, and then I'll reset, pass it through again, and just take that little edge off. So the cherry is gonna go on here. You can see, hopefully, how it overhangs on the top a little bit. That should give it a nice clean look. And what I'll do is I'll just 45 all these, match them up. It's definitely nothing too fancy, but it'll just pretty it up a little bit, so it's not just a super boring plywood box.
So the battery on my big camera is toast, and this one's low too, so we'll see how much we can capture. But this is what we've been dubbing the bunker, and where Garrett's been spending most of his time, and his current project is the electrical box. So let's see what he's got done. Can I look yet?
A little bit of wood glue fixes minor discrepancies.
I've yet to see this Bing cherry all cleaned up.
Yeah, it's funny, I went and I just grabbed like a piece out of the truck that's been in there for months through all the rain and everything, and it's, I mean, all of it's just really rough sawn and pretty ratty already, but I pulled out this gross, just like black, ratty, nasty piece and just ran it through the table saw a bunch and came up with a bunch of strips of just really pretty wood.
I thought you said that there wasn't any in the truck bed.
There's a random piece that I found. There's
one piece.
There was
perfect.
There was the one, like 1x5, and then another like 1x2 back there. Those are the pieces that I pulled out before you left, and I said there was no cherry in the truck because there's no cherry in there now. There might still be a few random pieces.
Can I look now?
Yeah.
Ooh. It is so rosy.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, look at it. It's really pretty wood. We've got a ton of this cherry that Carrie gave us.
Yeah.
Carrie's cherry.
Carrie's cherry.
Carrie cherry.
And he said he has more.
Yeah. So I'm really thinking, because this stuff's hard.
Like it could be a good floor?
Yeah. I'm thinking the cabin sole.
Wow.
And I'm thinking
That
also.
is nice.
I'm thinking also stripping it up and doing the whole galley countertop like butcher's block style with it.
Ooh.
Because it seems like really good durable wood.
How's the thinking going on the throne?